This November will mark the 2-year mark of working on this new property. This is about 1.5 miles south of Edible Acres at a certified organic farm in Trumansburg, New York. And I thought I'd make an update here. I'll link to the first video where I talk about starting this space out. The brief origin story, I'd watch that if you're interested, but the brief origin story is an older gentleman, one of the first, I think the first certified organic farmer in New York State, has this 2/3 acre field that he finds a little too small to work with machines, and so he really generously let me start farming it. And then my friends Liam and Sylvie came and they started farming it, and now we're almost 2 years in. This is their space in here, and it's crazy productive, and this is all without machines. I think they used a rototiller a little bit here or there, just in the back on the north end, but for the most part we have no irrigation, just fertile soil, and we're committing to a ton of mulch. I'd like to look at this area and just kind of go back through time a little with it. I feel pretty excited about how this area is working and what it's yielded so far. So far, this area that I'm panning over, of this mixed vegetation, which I'll explain what it is, has yielded, maybe at least over 1,000 pounds of potatoes, maybe closer to 2,000 pounds, about 8,000 heads of garlic, and now this is all cover crop, air quotes, because it's actually all really legitimate, beautiful crop. And my plan is to put some of it back to garlic, and then the rest of it commit to permanent perennial propagation space, PPP, with the idea that it's going to be a higher value in the long run, it's more resilient, helps my nursery business, and then it'll also by default leave a legacy for the landowner of things like cultivar currants, elderberry, sea buckthorn, trees, etc., etc. But right now what it's in is a mix of heirloom beans. So this is an Italian purple heirloom bean, which we're hoping gets far enough along so we can get seed from it. We're in mid-October, so far no frost, but worst case we can harvest it or even just turn it under, and man is it delicious. My wife Sasha wanted to put in black-eyed peas, so these are from our local food co-op, planted out. We'll see what comes of that. It's all an experiment, but these are planted into the beds that the garlic came out of, pretty much within 2 days of the garlic coming out. These beds are in butternut squash and delicatas. It's still questionable whether they'll ripen up, but so far so good. We're not looking at frost for a little while. Excuse me. These were transplanted in. They were in gallon pots that I started a month before the garlic came out. There's some patches of red Russian kale. That was all garlic bed. Way more beans in here. And then really solid cover crop of purple top turnips and daikons, really keeping it down. So actually a tremendous amount of useful food to us, all fixing nitrogen and providing fuel for the soil, and holding the option of going either back to garlic or onward to perennial crops. And right now I'm deflecting. I wouldn't say I'm keeping out, but the deer are in there a little bit less because of this fishing line at 18 inches and 36 inches. Let me look at another area though. I absolutely will plan to do another video on this, and I'd like to do it when Liam and Sylvie are here, because I'd like them to explain what they've made here. They set this up for really low cost, this fencing. That's not the most exquisite looking thing in the world, maybe, but for over a year now, I don't believe a deer has ever been in their garden. And the amount of material and time is so little, it's pretty genius. But I'll come back to that. When I make that video, I'll link to it, but I'd love for them to explain what they've made. I'm going to copy it. Also new as of this year, actually just a month ago, really super cool dude named Keith. I don't know his last name. In my phone, his name is Keith Woodchip. Maybe that's his given name, I don't know. But that's what he provides for now. Really awesome guy. He reached out to me. He's working as an arborist for a new tree company in Trumansburg, and said, hey, I like permaculture. I like what you're doing. I generate a full dump truck load of chips a few times a week. Do you want them? See if you can guess what I said. Now I'm trying to keep up with it. This is within the last week. He's dumped what would have taken me 10 hours with my truck to accumulate. And so I'm hiking it down. This is a comfortable drop spot for him. You can see the rut where I've been going. And developing this new area, which will be committed to propagation space for what will hopefully be certified organic permaculture nursery stock. And I'll be doing it in these air prune beds, which I had talked about in another video that my dear friend Akiva at Twisted Tree taught me. So these are lofted just slightly, a tiny air gap underneath them, so that the trees that grow in here will have bushier, fuller roots. You can check out that video if you're interested. And then trialing a back to Eden style garden. It's kind of a cheesy name for it, but it is what it is. Wood chip garden. I'm going at least a foot thick, in some areas 2 feet, some areas 3 feet thick, where there's comfrey. I'm going to see if I can actually erase the comfrey in this area and convert this. It's a very wet part of the field. It periodically floods. I lost my potato crop in here, and so I will follow nature's pattern and say, okay, I'll plant water-loving things. So aronia, elderberry, currants, those will all be absolutely going in here to be left as permanent plantings and to provide cuttings for me to propagate and sell. So the deeper I go with the wood chips, the better. And we'll see how this goes. I'm going to fill the rest of this out, and hopefully those chips keep coming. And this whole area has been sheet mulched with cardboard and organic straw from Tony. $40 a bale. I bought 3 of them. And these will all be garden beds with air prune beds on them. I think I have a better idea on how to do that now. So there you go. I'll zoom out a little here. This is an update on an auxiliary farm. There's the main Edible Acres farm. There's the micro farm where my wife and I live, where we raise our chickens and have all our annual home crops. And then there's this farm, which is very, very exciting to share with friends and develop and see what we can do with it. So that is just about the 2-year mark. Negligible investment. It's actually been quite profitable to be here. And we'll just keep on moving along with it. Thank you for watching.